You're listening to KPG 66.5, Dinosaur Talk Radio, your favorite prehistoric podcast for research, entertainment, and all things dinosaurs.
Welcome, dinosaur fans! I'm your host, Dinosaur Ranger Anthony, and we are ready to kick off episode number 23 of KPG 66.5 Dinosaur Talk Radio. Thank you for joining us this morning as we talk all about the smartest dinosaur. We want to talk about one dinosaur in particular. Which one may have been smarter than all the rest? Who is the Albert Einstein of dinosaurs? Could they make a wheel? Could they figure out how to use a microwave? And all kinds of fun stuff back during the Mesozoic Era. But I thank you guys all so much for tuning in, whether you're watching our YouTube video the day of, watching it play back later on, or even anybody listening on any of our podcasting platforms, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, all of them out there. We have our podcast uploaded into all those major platforms. So thank you so much for downloading us or listening to us live. But you guys, this is Dinosaur Talk Radio, and it is your favorite prehistoric podcast for entertainment, research, and all things dinosaurs. We're talking about all kinds of dinosaurs today. Now, today is Friday, May 8th, you guys, and it is a very special day here in the Stomp Chomp Roar House because it is my oldest daughter, Cecilia's 17th birthday. That's right, you guys. I, Ranger Anthony, have a 17-year-old daughter. Do I look that old? Do I look that old? Would you believe me if I said that I literally shaved some of my nose hairs this morning? That's how old I've gotten, you guys. That is just how old I am getting here. But you guys, it is Cecilia's birthday, so a very, very happy birthday to my 17th-year-old Cecilia. She's enjoying high school today, wanted me to get her out of class, and we'll see. Maybe she can still get out of fourth block, but we will see later on today. So I hope she's having a very, very happy birthday. Cecilia, you guys, she's amazing. Let me tell you everything she does. She does seem stressed sometimes, but she accomplishes so much. She's in the marching band, the show choir. She does private dance lessons. You guys, she's super smart, great grades, 4.0. Just fantastic. And you guys, next year, she'll be a senior in high school, and then she wants to go off to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, the Cornhuskers, and she wants to go into nursing. So we can't wait to support her and everything that she does moving forward. But you guys, my week this week, it has been a little bit of a recovery week. Last Sunday, you guys, I ran a half marathon. I think I got my results here. I do. So you guys, I ran a half marathon. Not my best. Totally not my worst. It fits right there in the little bit, probably a little bit better than all my averages. It was my 22nd half marathon. I ran it in 1 hour, 50 minutes, and 34 seconds. And then my youngest, if you remember from last week's Reagan, she ran the 1 mile mare's run, and she did it in 9 minutes and 41 seconds. It was like 43 seconds better than her best training run that we did together. So very good for her too. So it was a little bit of recovery Monday, Tuesday, just taking it easy, sending out some emails, trying to get some last minute customers for our dinosaur show. This summertime, you guys, I sent out an email to libraries about Dinovember, which is in November. So try and book up some November shows now that can't do too much marketing during the summertime, so wanted to send them a little marketing email now this week. Just all kinds of back-end stuff. So everybody knows I go out and do all kinds of dinosaur shows, but what's all the work that you got to do back in the office? Sending out invoices, sending out marketing material, updating the website, and doing all kinds of other stuff, which makes it a total business. So all the business aspects on the other side, handled a lot of them this week before I get into my busy season. On Wednesday, you guys, my mother and I, we went out and had coffee. We always love to have a nice little business coffee every time she comes up here to Nebraska and visits me and all my family, all of her family, you guys. Tons of fun hanging out with my mother this week. And then yesterday was my wife, Elise. It was her music program over at Hitchcock Elementary School. We figured out it was probably like her 24th music program. And it was just as good as all the rest of them. So it was the older kids, 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, did all kinds of great songs, had some props, some instruments. It was super, super cool. So shout out to my wife, Elise, as well, for putting on such a great performance and a great program for all the students and parents that went. But you guys, let's go ahead and start jumping into our podcast. Get out of this intro segment. We want to talk about the dinosaurs, okay? Now, this episode is brought to you by Troodon's Treehouse Library. That's right, the Troodon's Treehouse Library. How cool would it be able to go to the treehouse that the Troodon runs, and it's his or her library? That would be super, super cool. What if the Troodon was actually so smart that it had its own library? Wouldn't that just be cool? That would be. Maybe we'll talk about that today. How many books was in the Troodon's library of reading? All right, but let's go ahead and move into segment numero uno. It's Steggy's Pizza. Dun, 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 dun. All right, we are here in Steggy's Pizza of cheesy pepperoni-ness. We love pepperonis and mushrooms, green peppers, onions, chicken, beef, pork, bacon, pineapple, anchovies, banana peppers, the little tiny pepperonis that kind of curl up, all kinds of amazing pizza toppings Steggy would have loved. But let's go ahead. We'll move my little mouse out of here. See you later, mouse. We've got a pizza box, as you guys know, from Godfather's Pizza. Wednesday, my mom and I took her to Godfather's for lunch. They opened up a new store, so shout out again to Godfather's for being one of the Dino Bus sponsors. But we went to their new store on 204th and Q Street. Very, very nice inside. I mean, it is a new place, but tons of very cool pictures on the wall of some of the originals, some of the old ones. There was one picture, not to get off topic too much, but I believe it was 108th and Q, and I can remember it from just a little boy long, long ago. But anyway, we got a pizza box. We've got a bunch of slices inside, and we will get our one fact. Everybody knows the rules. All right, here we go. We'll get rid of that pizza. All right, Dilophosaurus. This one's about the Dilophosaurus. You know this one right here. Did it really have that frill? Did it really spit the venom? I don't know. Let's grab our fact. What does it say? All right. Dilophosaurus had 2 crests. That's right, 2 crests on its head. But it probably didn't spit venom or have a frill. So the fact is about its frill and the venom. So you guys, there's no evidence of dinosaurs having any kind of poison or venom or fire that they could spit across, you guys. So no venom, no spit, and no frill. So even though that frill looks really cool in Jurassic Park, it didn't have a frill at all. Poor Dilophosaurus, huh? Wouldn't it be cool though? Maybe someday scientists will find the fossilized impressions of the frill, and they'll be like, Jurassic Park knew it all along. But until then, no frill, no venom. All right, let's go ahead and move into our segment of today. Segment number 2, our episode lesson, and that is all about... Let's see if I can switch my cameras there. Boom! We're talking about the smartest dinosaur. Are you the smartest dinosaur? Am I the smartest dinosaur? Well, no, we're not dinosaurs, but we are ready to talk about the smartest dinosaur. Let me go ahead and see if I can grab a few of my things right here. Open up our YouTube chat. Perfect. Good morning there, David, there in the YouTube chat. Thank you so much for joining in. I'll move a few of my slides right here so we can perfectly talk about the smartest dinosaur. All right, smartest dinosaur. Let's go ahead and rock and roll. I have one right here. So here I think is the only Troodon toy that the Jurassic World series from Mattel has put out. I made sure to grab them before we started our podcast for today. I am the smartest dinosaur. All right, you guys, I got 3 great facts. We'll talk a little bit about Troodon. As you can see, it's a theropod. It's a meat eater. We know the basics, okay? But let's talk about 3 facts. I wanted to dive down into 3 bullet points all about our Troodon dinosaur. Troodon is a mystery dinosaur. That's right, it's all a mystery. No, it didn't just have mystery books in the library, you guys, but its fossils are a mystery, okay? So scientists still debate exactly what Troodon was. Some fossils may have been grouped incorrectly, which makes it one of the most confusing dinosaurs, you guys, in paleontology. And Troodon had sharp teeth, which suggested an omnivore or a carnivore diet, right? It had long legs for running fast, large eyes for seeing at night, and the Troodon, you guys, more than likely had somewhat of feathers. Now, most estimates for our Troodon is 6.5 to 10 feet long, or 2 to 3 meters. It can be 2 to 3 feet high, or up to 0.6 to 1 meter, and then weighing about 50 to 110 pounds, or 23 to 50 kilograms, okay? So 7 to 10 feet long from its nose all the way back to its tail right there, okay? And only about 2 to 3 feet high. So not very tall, but it's pretty, it's kind of, think of Velociraptor. Velociraptor is very similar. Only 2 to 3 feet tall like that one. Nose from its snout all the way back to its tail, 6.5 to 10 feet long, weighing only 50 to 110 pounds. So a very small dinosaur. No T-Rex. So even though T-Rex is bigger, Troodon may have been smarter. So that was fact number 1. So fact number 1 is that scientists, it's very confusing when it comes to their fossils. And I'll get into it a little bit more when I pull up in my characteristics for our Troodon. But since finding that very first tooth and naming it, it's been through all kinds of classifications, where once they thought it was a lizard, a true reptile, to being a dinosaur, to what kind of dinosaur. So until they're finding more and more fossils, it's been kind of very confusing. He's been grouped together with other kinds of creatures, you guys. So it makes it very confusing when we're talking about our Troodon. All right, so Troodon is a mystery dinosaur. That's fact number 1. Fact number 2, it is a small dino in a big world. I just mentioned T-Rex is way bigger, the size of a school bus, as we all know. But Troodon right here is only up to 10 feet long. So it's a small dinosaur in a big world. So Troodon lived in a dangerous neighborhood during the late Cretaceous period, you guys. And it was filled with huge predators and herbivores during that time. We have like hadrosaurs, ceratopsians, dromaeosaurs, and even Tyrannosaurus Rex, the T-Rex, you guys. Now, being small meant it probably had to be very clever, right? Clever, fast, and be very alert to survive. So it's small, but it's getting some very good characteristics to help it be able to survive during its time, right? It's living with those bigger dinosaurs. So maybe it does have a bigger brain. Maybe it does have bigger eyes to be able to see in the nighttime better. It has more of that binocular vision. It has night vision, possibly bigger kind of ears, you guys, so it can hear better in the nighttime. So it has better characteristics for being small, but it's able to help it survive in kind of like, imagine a kindergartner going and playing with all the 5th graders at the school. So we got a small dinosaur, but very smart, going to play with the older kids, okay? So that's fact number 2. Fact number 3 is its brain. Let's finally get into it. The smartest dinosaur, the Troodon, and its brain, okay? So you guys, Troodon is famous for having one of the highest brain to body ratios of any dinosaur. That doesn't mean that it was human smart like me and you guys, but it might have been quicker thinking than any of the other dinosaurs, okay? So you guys, it wasn't human smart, but its brain-to-body ratio could be some of the highest of any of the dinosaurs. And it might have been quick thinking, like I mentioned, compared to those other terrible lizards. Now, you guys, it's relatively large brain to body size suggests higher intelligence. So its bigger brain is giving it more intelligence, right? And it may have helped it solve problems and hunting its prey. So remember, T-Rex is ginormous. We've got other huge dinosaurs like hadrosaurs, ceratopsians. One Troodon isn't going to go take down a ceratopsian, a triceratops right there. But maybe it's very clever. Maybe its pack hunting could hunt a triceratops. But one by itself on its own, it would be very hard. So having a bigger brain is hopefully giving it more intelligence, not like a person, but better than most of the other dinosaurs, okay? And it may have helped it solve all kinds of problems while living in its environment or hunting for all kinds of prey. But how do scientists figure out its brain to body ratio? How do we figure out that its brain to body ratio makes it one of the smartest dinosaurs that ever lived? Let's break down that a little bit further, okay? As I slide down here. Now, you guys, they start with its skull, as you can imagine. So we got to start with its head, its skull. Scientists examine fossil skulls and look at the brain cavity called the endocast. The endocast. And that's the brain cavity. So think about our heads, and they take out our brain, and then there's just a hole up there in our brain. So that's our endocast. Now, this is a space where the brain used to sit. They can see the because we can't see the brain itself, right? It is gone. But the inside of the skull gives a pretty good mold of its shape and size. Sometimes they even make digital scans and can make physical casts of this space. And I believe I've seen it with Tyrannosaurus Rex. So when I'm on the market looking for new fossils, I've seen T-Rex brain casts where you can get a replica of the T-Rex's brain. Or even, I think I've seen Stegosauruses as well. Sometimes compared to an acorn, but it's more elongated. I'd compare it more to like a hot dog a little bit. So we can get that endocast, you guys, and be able to see the size and shape of the Troodon's brain. So that's the first step. Now, you guys, the second step is they got to make an estimate of the brain volume. So from that endocast, that cavity where the brain used to sit, they calculate and estimate the brain volume or size. So think of it this way. How much can the endocast hold? We got to figure out its volume. And by doing that, think about maybe doing an experiment like grabbing a 2-liter of your favorite drink and pouring it into the endocast. And let's see how much of that liquid can go into the endocast. Now, I know the fossil, it's holes and cracks, so the water wouldn't all stay in there. I'm just trying to examine a little bit, explain, trying to figure out some of the volume, right? We can also use digital scans. It's going to help us find the volume, the exact volume inside that endocast. But it's the same thing. Finding a volume of like a cup, you could pour in liquid and see how much liquid goes inside, and we figure out the volume. So for the Troodon, the cavity is relatively large, you guys, compared to its body size, which is where the smartest dinosaur idea comes from. Now, after they get the brain's volume, you guys, then they need to estimate its body mass. And this is the trickier part, actually. It is actually trickier than like the brain itself, because we have the exact volume of the brain right there. But finding out its body mass, okay? So scientists estimate how much the dinosaur weighed using bone thickness. Now, this is usually done in the leg bones, you guys, and also by getting comparisons to similar dinosaurs and using 3D models of its body shape. Because we got their fossils, their bones, right? But we don't know exactly what their body mass is going to look like. So we got to make somewhat of some 3D models. With all the muscle and ligaments and skin on their bones, you guys, what was their true body mass that they had long, long ago, back during the Mesozoic Era? So we got to figure out the body mass, making those 3D models, looking at comparisons of other dinosaurs, taking measurements of some of the thickest bones, you guys, like some of those leg bones, those femurs, they get so very, very big. So instead of weighing a real Troodon, they basically do kind of an educated reconstruction of what Troodon would have looked like long ago, and that's how we can help figure this out a little bit. Now, after this, you guys, so now we got the brains volume from that endocast, and we got the body mass of our dinosaur, our Troodon, just like this little guy right here. What's his body mass? We got both of them. Now what do? So after this, scientists then can compare the brain versus the body mass, and they use something called an encephalization quotient, okay? Encephalization quotient, or an EQ. And this is, you guys, this compares the actual brain size it compares the actual brain size to expected brain size for an animal of that body weight, okay? So we got the volume of the brain, and we compare it to other actual brain sizes of animals with those similar body weights, and we can compare all the animal kingdom together, and we can kind of see where the animal's falling into, and Troodon is estimated to have had a higher EQ than many of the other dinosaurs, okay? So essentially, we get the volume of the brain, we get the body mass, you guys. We can run a formula with that encephalization quotient, you guys, which compares the actual brain size to expected brain size for an animal of that body weight. And Troodon, like I said, is one of the greatest. I don't know, David. What is a human's EQ? What is we would probably have all kinds of different ones, right? Let's look that up here real quick. That is very interesting. Or even the scale. I should have looked up the scale a little bit while I was writing our podcast. Dun 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 bum 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 bum. Because there probably has to be somewhat of a scale. So the human EQ, you guys, measures the brain size of the human body size. Generally cited to 7.5 to 7.6, meaning our brains are 7.5 times larger than the expected for a mammal of our size. So we are smart. Now let's see here. Let's see if I can get an actual number for Troodon. What is Troodon's EQ? 5.8. So humans 2 points, 2 whole numbers better. So humans, there was like 7.5 to 7.6. Troodon down 5.8. So here, let's look up another one. Let's look up T-Rex. What is T-Rex's EQ brain? T-Rex looks like it's surprisingly high, but not Troodon, remember. T-Rex is looking like ChatGPT pulling in 2.0 to 2.4. That was great. I'm glad I looked that up. Thank you so much for asking that, David. So Troodon, as we just learned, 5.8 EQ as we're figuring out their brain to body mass. Humans, 7.5. That's right. 7.6. Maybe I'm 7.7. That's right. I'm above average. All right, let's go ahead, you guys, and scoot on over this way. As now, would you guys want to be a Troodon back during the late Cretaceous period? Let me read off some of these other characteristics real quick. So we dove into them being a mystery dinosaur. Their fossils are a mystery. They're small dinosaurs in a big world. We talked about their brain to body, you guys. They're a very smart dinosaur. Now, their name, Troodon, means the wounding tooth. It was found off one fossilized tooth, you guys, way a long time ago, named back in 1856 by Joseph Leddy. Joseph Leddy. And you guys, it's been through all kinds of mix-up as we read. Once thought to be a lizard in like around 1856. I believe maybe even Joseph thought it was some kind of reptile, some kind of lizard. We didn't have very many dinosaurs way back then. Dinosaurs had just been coined, about 15 years earlier than this. The mix-up, I believe in the 1930s, I read a little bit about, and then finally about in the 1960s, 1969, is when we kind of established Troodon being that Saurischian theropod-like dinosaur. We talked about up to possibly 10 feet long, 3 feet high, maybe at 110 pounds. When I looked up its speed, it was around 35, maybe 37 miles per hour as it's running looking for all kinds of food. Large eyes, like I mentioned, very good for hunting at night. Binocular vision, fast running, slender bird-like legs, lightweight. They're the Dino Einstein. And they had around, I believe, 122 serrated, sharp, tiny little teeth. So I read only about a quarter of an inch, you guys, so very small teeth. And what if they could hunt in packs? They're clever, they're smart. Could they be very aggressive pack hunters looking for all kinds of hadrosaurs, ceratopsians, and other dinosaurs and reptiles and little mammals long ago? And we find bone beds, so we know that they would have hunted in packs together long ago. And they lived 76 to 70 million years ago during the late Cretaceous period, found in Montana, Wyoming, and parts of Alberta, so here in North America, on the western side of North America. All right, you guys, that is our Troodon, our smartest dinosaur. It has that very great EQ, very good brain to body, just everything's great about Troodon. Small, but very clever, very smart, and that is our Troodon, the smartest dinosaur. But let's go ahead and move on into our prehistoric cage match for today, okay? So let's see if we can find our spinning wheel of doom. The spinning wheel of doom for all of our dinosaurs, okay? All right, here's our wheel. Now let me pull it up onto our OBS studios. There we go. We've got our wheel right here. Let's give it a spin twice and see what two dinosaurs we'll talk about battling today. All right, here it goes. We're spinning. That's right, we're spinning. All right. Let's see. Is it going to stop or we're going to keep going? Up. The Pachycephalosaurus. And what makes it truly amazing, you guys, is when I first started Stomp Chomp Roar, like 2019, started doing virtual stuff, Pachycephalosaurus was Cecilia's favorite dinosaur, and we got it on her birthday. So happy birthday again to Cecilia. Hopefully the Pachycephalosaurus doesn't let you down. All right, let's grab another one. As long as we don't get like maybe T-Rex, Spinosaurus, Giganotosaurus, Carcharodontosaurus. Ooh, this one will be a good matchup. Kentrosaurus. Our Kentrosaurus. So a Stegosaurid. All right, we'll remove that from the list. We'll come back over here, you guys. We've got a showdown. 2 herbivores to today. So no meat eaters, no very sharp teeth, but we will still have a great battle for the ages. I will not let you down. All right, let me go ahead and close a few of these windows here as we minimize these friends. I got this new laptop, as I'm sure you guys all have heard me talk about. It is amazing, but I wish I had a second screen. I should try my second monitor, because the first time I did my second monitor, it slowed everything down. All right, but let's speed things up as we get to our prehistoric cage match of the morning. All right, here we go. Are you ready? All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Here we are, folks. We are in a prehistoric cage match for the ages. One truly from the Mesozoic Era. Now, this one doesn't involve meat eaters. No sharp teeth, no sharp claws, but it will still be fantastic as we talk about 2 amazing plant-eating dinosaurs. So first up, you guys, we've got the Pachycephalosaurus. Now, this one's up to 15 feet long, 5 feet high, can weigh around 1,000 pounds. It's the dome-headed dinosaur. It has a 10-inch, that's right, 10-inch thick-headed skull. That dome is thick. It is solid. It is like a bowling ball on its head, and it had great smell. So 15 feet long, 5 feet high, 1,000 pounds, and that great dome. Then it was going up against the Kentrosaurus, a stegosaurid, you guys. This one's up to 17 feet long, so just a couple feet longer than our Pachycephalosaurus. 5 feet high, so they're about the same height, you guys. And this one weighs up to a ton. So it weighs double of our Pachycephalosaurus, but they are somewhat similar in size by length and height. It is a stegosaurus. They've got 2.4 foot shoulder spikes and plates going down their back. All right, let's do this, okay? We've got an arena. We've got Pachycephalosaurus. We've got Kentrosaurus. Who's going to take out the other? Which one is going to become the champion, you guys? Who can it be? Our Pachycephalosaurus charges with its dome head, but it's got to watch out. Kentrosaurus has shoulder spikes. That's right. Kentrosaurus can turn its body, revealing those shoulder spikes. And our Pachycephalosaurus would quickly try and get out of the way. And now, Kentrosaurus also has those plates on its back. But Pachycephalosaurus isn't tall enough where those plates on the back of Kentrosaurus are really going to matter in this one. So it's essentially going to be dome head versus shoulder spikes, okay? Can the shoulder spikes grab our Pachycephalosaurus? Can the Pachycephalosaurus, you guys, get around those shoulder spikes? Can it do all the damage, you guys? It would truly be a great matchup between these two plant-eating dinosaurs. Now, I think at the end of the day, our dome-headed Pachycephalosaurus would probably be able to start getting some blows in, okay? They're the same height. It's probably going to get those back legs, you guys. Do some leg damage to that Kentrosaurus. Our Kentrosaurus is going to feel the pain on its back legs. It's going to fall down. And if our dome-headed Pachycephalosaurus can deal a blow to the tiny head of our Kentrosaurus and avoid those shoulder spikes, then I do believe here on episode 23 of KPG 66.5 Dinosaur Talk Radio, in honor of my daughter Cecilia, our winner shall be the Pachycephalosaurus. Will be our champion for today. So there you have it, you guys. Pachycephalosaurus wins the matchup against the Kentrosaurus solely because of that 10-inch thick dome head would help it come out on top. Kentrosaurus has great armor, has those spikes, but man, those are probably more for those meat eaters coming from above. When our Pachycephalosaurus is coming at its level, it's going to be able to take advantage. Now, they don't got teeth like I mentioned, but that dome is going to do the bruises and the bumps on our Kentrosaurus, and Pachycephalosaurus wins the day. All right, you guys, that's our cage match for this morning, and let's go ahead and jump into our closing, our final thoughts of episode number 23. All right, here we go. Thank you guys all so much, my dinosaur fans, for joining us in for another dynamite episode, you guys. I hope everyone has a dynamite weekend ahead. It is Mother's Day weekend, so do something nice for your mom. Don't bug her too much. Let her have a little bit of relaxation. And in doing so, go read about some dinosaurs, play some dinosaur toys quietly in your rooms, and let your mothers relax and have a great Mother's Day weekend. And even maybe go make her a little craft, okay? Something cool that you really put some thought and effort in. We just don't want to grab a piece of paper and draw a stick figure. Let's make it look really cool. All kinds of maybe other little crafts you can glue. Don't ask for too much help because remember, we want our mothers to relax. But you can still make her something really cool. Or even decorate a dynamite Mother's Day card. Go make a very cool Mother's Day card for your mom. And don't forget to add the dinosaurs on it as well, okay? A few shout outs, you guys. I got 3 birthdays tomorrow. That's right, a 3-birthday weekend. I cannot wait, you guys, so I want to give some birthday shout-outs to these friends before I bring all the dinosaurs to their household and we rock all about dinosaurs. Stomp, chomp, roar. All right, so birthday shout-outs go to Donovan, turning 6, Sebastian, turning 5, and Jackson, also turning 5. So I got Donovan, Sebastian, and Jackson. 2 Mesozoic birthday party shows and 1 Jurassic period package. It's going to be dynamite, and I can't wait to come share your birthday with you guys and make it even magical and filled with all kinds of dinosaurs. Now, Memorial Weekend is coming up very, very fast. Only 17 days away until the Memorial Day weekend when we eat all kinds of hopefully grilled food. We remember the soldiers who have fallen, you guys, and thank them for all their service and what they gave to us for our freedom in the United States of America, the greatest country here on earth. But let's go ahead, you guys. And let's see, what do I got here? Do I got an actual good joke for today? All right, we got one joke before we go ahead and log off for this evening. Well, here, let me go through the chat real quick before we do our joke and do our our closing slogan. I was reading too much about Troodon. Oh yeah, David, may the 4th be with you. That's right, Star Wars fans, last Monday, we had a great day with our lightsabers. The size of the brain does not determine the intelligence if it's the neurons. So remember when I believe David knows because he would have listened on Patreon Club. I am going to do a Bone Wars lesson, I think next week or in 2 weeks. But I'll talk about human brains here in a couple weeks. I think it might be next week. I think next week I'm doing a lesson on the Bone Wars, a podcast on the Bone Wars, and the scientists, when we talk about them, Edward Cope, he took his brain out at the end, donated to science because he wanted to prove that it was bigger so that he could say he was smarter than some of the other paleontologists, which we know it's not the total size of the brain itself. It is what is holding the brain together and what the brain is made out of. All right, here, let me scroll down here. Bum-ba-da-dum-bum-bum. Oh, you're a Sith, David? Sith or Rebel? I don't know. I think I might have to keep that one close to home. Let's see, I'm a Sith with Kylo Ren's grandson of the Anakin Skywalker, a.k.a. Darth Vader, and the son of Luke Skywalker. What would I be? Would I be a Sith or a Rebel? I don't know. I like the bad guys. When I watch wrestling, I always like the heels. The heels make everything more interesting. So give me, I don't know. I'm going to have to think on that one. Should I go with Darth Vader? Give me my white helmet. All right, let's do our joke for today. What do you call a dinosaur with an extensive vocabulary? And this one was probably one you guys have heard before. So what do you call a dinosaur with an extensive vocabulary? Is it the Troodon? The Troodon has the vocabulary that's very extensive. But no, that's not the right answer. Troodon would not be the right answer here. What do you call a dinosaur with an extensive vocabulary? Is it thesaurus? Thesaurus? Thesaurus. Do you know what a thesaurus is? Thesaurus. Thesaurus, you guys. Thesaurus. You guys, it helps you find synonyms. So words that kind of mean the same thing, right? Like amazing, wonderful, fantastic. They all mean the same thing, but it's different words. So instead of the thesaurus, it's the thesaurus or the therosaurus. One of those. We'll put one of those dinosaurs in there. So the dinosaur with the big vocabulary, you guys, extensive vocabulary, is the Troodon and the thesaurus. All right, you guys, well, a few plugs before we go for today. I've got to run. I've got to actually go do track meet concessions. Think about how much fun I'm going to have the rest of the day. While you guys are doing crafts at home, doing all kinds of dinosaur learning and learning about all kinds of cool stuff, I get to go run a concession stand at a high school track meet selling nachos and pizza for free. I'm doing it for free. I'm volunteering since I am the president of the band, the Marching Band Booster Club. I've got to go volunteer my time from 11 to about 3:15 selling all kinds of nachos and pizza. And no, you cannot have any for free if you made it up here to see me. Or maybe I would get you a slice. But anyways, you guys, let's close it for today so I can pack up my laptop, pack up the bus, head inside, grab my lunch, grab some fancy drink, probably going to get an energy drink for today or maybe a coconut Dr. Pepper and head on over there for today. So, hey, David in their chat, I hope you have a great Mother's Day weekend. Tell your mom not happy birthday again. Tell your mom happy Mother's Day for me and have all kinds of great fun. Happy Mother's Day to my mom. Happy Mother's Day to all the grandmas and all the moms of the world and to my wife Elise, who is the perfect mom for me and our children. On Sunday, we've made it a family tradition. We need to go onto Facebook and see when the first time we went. We go to Cilantro's. It's a Mexican restaurant just down the street from our house. We started going there on Mother's Day night probably 8 to 10 years ago. So I should try and figure out when the very first one was. We even went there So it was before COVID, because I remember during COVID we got it, we went and picked it up and brought it home when they were just doing the pickup orders. So it's been at least more than 6 years. But anyway, you guys have a very happy Mother's Day, a dynamite Mother's Day. Now, always remember, thanks to the dinosaurs for giving us this passion. But this is our world now. Get out there, do something good, and never be afraid to show your claws, even if you're a Sith with Darth Vader. That's right, Ranger Anthony signing out. We'll see you guys later.